Good morning. I'm just eating some eggs to get lots of protein, like a heavier dose and stuff than normal. And then coffee because you have to have coffee. So I'm getting ready to go to my fun appointment in Infusion today. Apparently, if you get here early enough, there actually is parking enough to go all the way down to like the second or third level. So we'll be here for another 4 or 5 hours and doing random checkups and stuff. So that way you guys can get a taste of kind of what a infusion day and all the fun stuff I get to go through. So hopefully it's educational. You guys learn a bit. They make you check in on the first floor, and then you have to do your labs on the first floor, and then you go up to where you actually need to go. So, but get a couple thousand steps in a day when you're walking around this place. Now I get to hang out and wait until they call my name so I can get my port access. Now on the 11th floor, after doing my labs, getting all that stuff taken care of and getting ready to meet with the doctor. So I'm now in my infusion room. It's a little bit smaller than some of the other ones I'm used to. But this section here, it's hard to see, but there's like this is where my mechanical pump is. The Band-Aid is where they actually poke it. I put a numbing cream on there, so that way I don't have to fill the needle and things like that. So, but typically they would give me a bed to lay down in and stuff. But this one, they're like, we'll just lean you back, you'll be good to go. Kick your feet up, Show off my actual port itself. I'll show it off more once I'm all connected to the machines and stuff like that. But when I was downstairs and stuff, they go in, they access my port here, they tape it all. I'm here during a fire alarm test, apparently, and it's going crazy. Hey, everybody. So I am now officially connected. Anyway, do this for the kids, and it's kind of fun. The nurses and all the staff also get a kick out of these, and it ends up being a cool conversation piece as far as me collecting body parts and all the things that I've either lost or have cancer in and am dealing with. So that's kind of backstory on these guys and stuff. So right now, my big cancer battles with in my liver, right? How the treatments work for the regular chemo that I'll be on is they give me some pre-meds first. They give me like a dexamethasone, which is a steroid. It's fine, it's just there to boost things. The only thing that sucks about that is it makes it to where it's hard to sleep. And then I go on to some like anti-nausea medication, all the basic stuff they give me before they actually start the full infusion and stuff. What's nice though is it's literally just a little connection here, and so it plugs into my chest, and then there's a connection that's there, and they just swap it out and connect it to your standard unit. And so once it's all connected and stuff, I just kind of sit here and they just swap things out, and I don't even notice during the whole time. The only downfall is it does take quite a few hours. Usually I'm here for, I forgot the exact amount of time that the actual chemo infusion is, but it's usually like 2 hours. The other mechanical port I showed you, they still need to access that. That's like a new one for me. I've only had it done once prior to this, but they'll access that. Drain out any of the remaining chemo that's in there, and then for this treatment, put in a saline type solution, a HEPA saline, I forgot the exact name, but it's pretty much just a filler. And the main reason for that is that pump can't run dry. If it runs dry, it breaks. There's no do-over. It's a one-time thing, so it's critical to make sure that thing always has fluid in it, which also locks me down to having to come in every 2 weeks, like no matter what. So it's kind of the downfall, I guess, of it all and stuff. But at the same time, it's what is saving my life. So yeah. Anyway, I'll continue updating with little things as it goes on. But as of right now, I have my nice warm blanket, because when you're getting infusions, generally anything they're putting in you is room temperature, which is really cold when it's going into your body. Like I can actually feel it go into my chest, and it's cold, and I feel the cold spread. And so I always get a warm blanket, even if it's 80, 90 degrees out. You'll still get cold doing this, like especially if you do fluids after as well. So otherwise, got my book, got switch to. I'm going to nerd out, play some video games, and relax for a bit. Got done playing a bunch of video games for a little bit. Was like, all right, I need a break, and figure I should check up and everything like that. So, what I did find out is most of the pre-meds is actually what takes forever, like an hour just to do the pre-meds that I was talking about on a little bit ago, and then the actual chemo itself is only about an hour and a half, so definitely not too bad and stuff like that. So it's always kind of funny because it's like the first time you come back to doing any sort of chemo or anything like that, they do give you some like anti-nausea medication when you first do it, and then also I mentioned the dexamethasone before, which is just like, you know, a steroid that is like, but yeah, it's just, you always feel odd, you know, the first time and stuff, and then you just kind of get used to it all. So, but yeah, I've probably been having chemo pumped into me for about half an hour now, so another hour to go, and then they still got to come in and do my fun mechanical pump and put the plain solution in there. So, but yeah, otherwise, you know, I will admit this is probably not the most exciting thing. I mean, you just come in here and sit in a room and they plug you in and, you know, pump drugs into you and whatnot. So, but, you know, I usually use it just to relax and, you know, play some video games or read a book or just listen to music. And yeah, I find it relaxing, even though there's a big, like, the nervousness thing, anxiety and things like that. It's like, oh man, you know, chemo, you know, and it's, but at the end of the day, I mean, you know, I'm a believer in science and research and medicine and all that, and I trust the process. And, you know, it's been beating things well enough and working for the most part. It's just a matter of, you know, winning the battles, you know, winning the war overall. So, you know, keep fighting these little fights and have these little battles. I keep winning, and, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's, you know, kind of life, right? What can you do? But you got to stay strong, keep at it. And yeah, you know, so, I mean, cool thing is talking to the doctor. He said my levels are all good and things like that. Like, you know, some of them are lower to be expected after, you know, major surgery. But overall, liver's doing well, you know, tolerating treatments well. This is kind of the second test run. Everything goes good. In 2 weeks, I'll be doing the double dosage and hopefully shrink these tumor down so they can go in and cut them out and, you know, be a check mark off the list. Keep the, you know, the other chemo going in order to make sure everything else stays dead and away, and hopefully get to the point where there's no detectable disease and I can go back into remission. So I cross my fingers and stuff, and, you know, yeah, it's still a ways away with, you know, probably another surgery in the near future, and, you know, probably about 2 months, I think, is what the current plan is after I start the full dosage next 2 weeks, then I'll do that for, that'll be 4 treatments overall. And then I'll start going in for CT scans to see how the tumors are doing. If they shrink enough, then I get to go back and have another surgery. Yay! But it's actually as exciting because if everything works properly, then they get those tumors out, and then it's a matter of more chemo after that to make sure everything, you know, no cancer lives, everything dies, and then from there back into monitoring. So one other cool thing is I had to bring in a special test, and it's they took a piece of my tumor that they originally removed from my rectum, sent that off to a special lab, and they made a special formula that looks for tumor traces in my blood. And so I did that test this morning. It's like a blood test. It usually takes like a week or 2 to get back and stuff, but it's a great indicator of if, you know, there's tumor in the blood itself and it's spreading and things like that. So, you know, of course, the goal of the chemo is to kill that, make sure that's not happening and stuff. And for a lot of people who don't know, chemo is kind of really interesting medicine because it's not, it's almost like a poison in a way, right? Technically it is, because what's happening, and for anybody who doesn't know, is that it actually goes in and it doesn't actually care what it's damaging. It damages everything, every cell in your body. Now, what's really cool that I found out between regular cells and cancer cells is cancer cells are dumb. Once they're damaged, they die. They can't fix themselves. They don't know how to repair themselves. They're not like our regular human, you know, our you know, liver cells or whatever, all of our normal cells. So that's kind of how the whole entire treatment approach works, right? You get rid of any sort of tumors where the cancer cells are able to spread and do their thing, right? And then once all that's dead and done and cut out or whatever the case may be, then you keep blasting your whole entire body with chemo. And then that makes sure that, hey, if there's any cancer cells remaining, they die, get damaged or whatever, and then they die off before they can have a chance to reproduce and spread. And so it's kind of a battle in a way of like, can we keep everything down, have the chemo work, keep the cancer dead, or any cells dead and stuff, and then also make sure there's no tumors or anything for any new spots to regenerate. So yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. You end up learning a lot about cells and your body and just how everything works. And it's yeah, like feels like going back to school and getting a minor in biology. We're getting ready to access my mechanical port here and stuff. So I'm gonna get it all prepped and just done with all the alcohol swabbing and stuff. So access, hard part's over. Now we are going through and draining the last little bit. It naturally does it on its own because the mechanical pump has a spring that actually will push it out automatically, which is kind of cool. Also, what's cool to note about this needle is that it's actually special syringe needle. Correct me if I'm wrong here. There's actually two in there, right?
There is.
It's like a syringe piece and then the actual needle that does the injection part of it, right?
Yeah.
So super cool. So.
Yeah, and there we go. We went between 10 and 15 milliliters out. We've got 11, so now we know that's all of it that was left, and it's
pretty
within
cool.
the range we want. So then now we'll refill with that heparin.
Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
So, as much as I hate needles and stuff, the technology behind all this is amazing. Like having a mechanical pump and, so.
It really is. It's pretty incredible.
And then while they're administering this, if I remember correctly, they go about 10 milliliters in, and then they actually let off, and it naturally backs up about a milliliter or two.
Yep.
And then they go again for another,
Every 5 milliliters.
Oh, is it 5?
Yep, every 5. Yeah.
So
Probably could do 10, but
I was a little off there, so.
You're doing good, though. That's beautiful.
I can't believe I remember all this stuff, actually, so it's pretty cool. But so yeah, this is this process and stuff. This one here is actually new to me. The whole piece going in and things like that. So this is only the second time I've actually had this done. So, but
you did great though. Yeah.
So this is the process. So this is what I get to look forward to every 2 weeks. All right, that is it for a day and the fun of getting an infusion and chemo and all that stuff. So, usually they will do the that pump part that I just recorded. They'll do that piece where they drain it out and everything, like while everything's going on and stuff. And this one, they waited till the end, which not a big deal, other than the little numbing cream I put on there wore out a little bit. So I feel that one a little more than usual. So. But yeah, got here at, I want to say about 7 a.m. and it is now about 12:15 and I'm all finished up. So I'll get to come back in 2 days to get this lovely pump here disconnected. Actually, a little bit about the pump because I haven't talked about it is, so this pump I have, see if we can open it up real quick, but it's actually like a pump that they use, the same kind of things for, when you're getting like a drip IV or whatever. The difference though is that I'm still plugged into my chest, and this will slow feed chemo to me for the next 2.5, 3 days roughly. And then I come in on Friday and get it disconnected, and it's just a quick disconnect and done. But honestly, out of everything, this thing is the worst because I got to sleep with it. I got to carry it around with me. It's permanently attached 24/7 until, for the next 3 days or until Friday. So this part sucks. The thing itself does. So getting poked and all that other stuff is fine, but carrying around this thing bag is so annoying. So, but yeah, that's a day in the life of getting chemo and all the fun infusion clinic stuff. So anyway, till next time.